hard as stone. What a warlock. Powerful like a demon. Tough like stone. I really like this gossy little gnome. Hope nothing bad happens to him with any runes. These rings with MP5 are great. You won't have to live tap or use runes as often. I am getting slaughtered in the comment section, man. To be fair though, it's funny. After like sleeping on it, after like, you know, getting over it a little bit, it is the most stupid way of dying, man. Also on the Reddit, dude, this one was the worst one too, bro. Right here. Dude, you could see his change in like his face. What the fuck did I do? Wait, what did I do? Wait. That must have been a fat finger. There's no way. It was just all... I don't know, man. Dude, what are we to do? I fat fingered my demonic rune. I died with a 31 overkill. It's so sad. What are the new posts here? Ditch. It's time to go. Was I a good boy? No. I'm told you were the best. Listen, man. Gossy was a good boy, man. Who would win? Demonic rune or... Shift Q. Pay respects, Shift Q. That's not even Gossy on that picture. That's some mage. I did not have a beard like that. Oh no, we got the React Lord watching it too. Oh gosh. I do. Okay, I don't know what he's gonna say, but this cannot be good. What time is Black Lair? Invite starts in 10 minutes. So very soon. Oh, he's blocking. No! Please be nice. Please be nice. No!
What?
Yeah, that was my exact reaction too. What? What did I just do? Why did I do that? Wait. What did I do? Wait. No! Because it was so unexpected.
It was a demonic rune?
Yeah.
Yep. The demonic rune right there. I see it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, look at that right there. Holy shit.
Fat fingered, man.
Wow, what a fuck up.
Yep. No! Yep, it is a fuck up.
Jesus.
What the fuck did I do?
Wait,
what did I do? Wait,
I don't know.
I don't know either, man. What did I do? What? I don't know either. I know what I did. I know what I did.
Yep.
No.
Man.
Damn. I fat fingered the demonic rune.
Man.
God.
Level 60s are immortal though? No? I don't think so.
No, we're not. I did delete it. Gossy is gone. You guys can see. Wawa, Musu, Guswald. Gossy's gone. I can't believe I did that. Yeah.
Wow. That is fucking sad.
I know.
That is why I don't play hardcore.
Dude, honestly, that's how so many people die. It's not because you're doing a hard quest. It's not because you're like doing something crazy scary. It's not because of raiding. It's because you space out for a few seconds, you don't pay attention, and you fat finger something, man. Oh.
Holy shit. Why would you keep buying damage? Well, I mean, probably just for doing raiding. Yeah.
Yes.
Fuck that, dude.
I had keybounded because I wanted to. It was for raiding. Yes, it was because I was raiding and I wanted to use demonic runes to do more damage. That's why I had it keybound.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That sucks.
This is where I changed the trinket. Look at the trinket there, guys. Okay, that thing. I'm actually gonna unironically do something real fast. I'll do this here, do that there. Yeah. There we go. Nice.
Hey man, way to go ending your own life in game. It's impressive, really.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's where I did it.
Alright boys, welcome back after a very short hiatus to episode 13.
You know what's funny? Oh my...
A defensive guy, and everyone's just doing the dot connecting, and then when we get to Thursday night, it's like, oh no, they took a quarterback. Duh.
It's really interesting because I still think they might take a quarterback, but at 2, they've got a couple things at play here. Now, Will Anderson is a name that everyone's throwing out because D'Amico and him went to Alabama, but that's not the defensive end type that the Niners had. They always had these big, long, rangy guys, whether it be Bosa and had Armstead and Buckner, and it was a totally different. The 4-down defensive lineman is Tyree Wilson. That's the guy. And the highest paid defensive line coach in the league is this guy, Chris Kocurek, who is at the Niners, and he's like a screamer, and he's awesome, and he is the guy who teaches all these guys in the defensive line in San Francisco. And he's a Texas Tech guy, and he would know Tyree Wilson, and D'Amico and him obviously are tight. So I'm not just saying because one guy went to Alabama, Nick Saban looks at D'Amico Ryans and says, you know what, young man, you should take Will Anderson. He's taking Will Anderson. I would add that their GM, Caserio, last year at this time, everyone had them taking Sauce Gardner 3 or going with an offensive lineman like Ike Ekwonu, someone, and he took Derek Stingley at 3. And he's got a guaranteed contract. And at 15, I think they took Kenyon Green, who no one had. He's an offensive guard. So, like, the Texans are a perfect team for us at number 2 because anyone who tells you that they know exactly what they're doing, they're full of it. Which makes the draft really fun.
That would be shocking to me, just at a human
hear
level.
you.
If a Texas Tech defensive player went number 2 overall, that'd be crazy. That would be like a PMT. And now here's Pete Schrager.
All right, we now welcome on very special guest, good friend of the program. You can see him every single morning on Good Morning Football. He's on paternity leave, though, right now. Or he's back. But he's going to then go back on paternity leave. It is Peter Schrager. We're going to talk some draft. It is draft week. We have all of our guests lined up. We're going to do some of the mock draft guys on Wednesday, but we want to get you on, Schrags, to talk about what these teams are thinking, what you're hearing. But before we do that, is Derrick Henry on the Eagles? Because none of us can figure it out. There's too many tweets about it. No, he's not?
Not now, no. And that was the first I heard of that this weekend. But I think once you get Howie Roseman and you get big swings everywhere, that – and I think it was put out by Akbar, who I love. Great dude. And it's not a usual source. You think, okay, well, it must be close to the situation. He wouldn't come out and just say, oh, all of a sudden today I'm going to be an NFL insider. No, it would have to be pretty firm. But the people I've checked with, that is not the case at the moment. But Tennessee's in constant revolving door mode right now. So nothing would surprise me at the draft. But as of right now, no. Can I tell you guys what happened to me though this week, real quick, before we get into the draft? I had a birthday on Thursday, and I've got 3 really good friends, and they know what I'm interested in, and they can get me something. They could buy me a gift, anything. I wake up in the morning and I have a Cameo waiting for me. Okay, I have a Cameo waiting for me. I've never had a Cameo. No one's bought me a Cameo. For my fantasy football draft, we once had Robert Wolf from Arliss, like very earnestly, like deliver like the draft results. That's the only time I ever used Cameo. Frank the Tank Fleming did a Cameo, and he did it so naturally. He's so smoothly. It was almost like he was very comfortable doing it. And I asked, how much was this? And they're like, it was kind of a lot. So I would be fascinated to know how many people have had Frank the Tank do birthday cameos and just what kind of second living he is making on the cameo market.
Yeah. Well, not second living. That's Frank's full-time job.
Unbelievable.
To be a cameo guy. Everything else is icing on top of that. Yeah, he's good at it.
He's a cameo millionaire. I always say, like, if you walk around the office in August, Frank is just sitting in a chair doing everyone's draft order. He's like, all right, and Pat, you're 1, Evan, you're 2, Steve, you stink 3, and he's just ripping them all off. So he is a cameo millionaire.
It was the best, and he botched everyone's pronunciation of all my friends' names. He botched everything, and I loved it. And then he got like angry at the end. I'm like, I don't even know what he's angry about, but I guess that's his bit. Like, all right, sure, he got angry. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so go ahead, PFT.
Yeah, Peter, I was just wondering because last time you came on the show, you told us about the story of Ron Rivera hearing you talking shit about him, pulling you aside and saying, let's hash this out like men.
Christ.
Are there any coaches right now, right off the bat, that you're on their shit list? And if so, would you like to make amends to them on this podcast?
Yeah, no. As of right now, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape. I'm going through the mental exercise right now. I'm in pretty good shape with all of them. I think I'm in pretty good shape. Picked against the 49ers and picked the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, and they They were well aware of that. They weren't thrilled. And then that was kind of like an asterisk game because of the injury, but they weren't thrilled for a while. But then that came around and everyone's good. But yes, Combine, I make amends with everyone. I kiss everyone's ass. I get up there, hey, buddy, and it's all good.
You should, going forward, if you do get on the wrong side of a coach, you should just come on the show and like a hate baton, just pass it off to us. Be like, like Jonathan Gannon is not happy with me. Just pass it on. Be like, we've always thought Jonathan Gannon is a fucking moron.
We don't.
And we'll just go
way deeper.
Yeah, we'll go way deeper, and we'll take all the heat. So yeah, that's a good question though. All right, let's talk draft though.
Yeah.
Let's start with one. Bryce Young's a Panther, right? It's just set. We don't have to worry about it. He's a Panther. That's what's going to happen, right?
90% I would say right now as we record this, yes, he's a Panther, but crazy stuff does happen. And I've seen teams tell me it's 100%, and then 3 days later it changes. Well, something came in late. So yes, I will say right now Bryce Young's the Panther. And then it gets really interesting at number 2.
Yes. So let's just do it. I mean, we're hearing now, it feels like CJ Stroud has like the free fall ability because at number 2, there's now rumors that the Texans might not even take a quarterback. Is that all because Will Anderson would be there and DeMeco Ryans is an Alabama guy and a defensive guy, and everyone's just doing the dot connecting, and then when we get to Thursday night, it's like, oh no, they took a quarterback. Duh.
It's really interesting because I still think they might take a quarterback, but at 2, they've got a couple things at play here. Now, Will Anderson is a name that everyone's throwing out because DeMeco and him went to Alabama, but that's not the defensive end type that the Niners had. They always had these big, long, rangy guys, whether it be Bosa and had Armstead and Buckner, and it was a totally different. The 4-down defensive lineman is Tyree Wilson. That's the guy. And the highest paid defensive line coach in the league is this guy, Chris Kocurek, who is at the Niners, and he's like a screamer, and he's awesome, and he is the guy who teaches all these guys in the defensive line in San Francisco. And he's a Texas Tech guy, and he would know Tyree Wilson, and DeMeco and him obviously are tight. So I'm not just saying because one guy went to Alabama, Nick Saban looks at DeMeco Ryans and says, you know what, young man, you should take Will Anderson. He's taking Will Anderson. I would add that their GM, Caserio, last year at this time, everyone had them taking Sauce Gardner 3 or going with an offensive lineman like Ike Ekwonu, someone, and he took Derek Stingley at 3. And he's got a guaranteed contract. And at 15, I think they took Kenyon Green, who no one had. He's an offensive guard. So, like, the Texans are a perfect team for us at number 2 because anyone who tells you that they know exactly what they're doing, they're full of it. Which makes the draft really fun.
That would be shocking to me, just at a human level, if a Texas Tech defensive player went number 2 overall. That'd be crazy. That would be like a complete. That would fuck with my mind to no end.
It's not what they're known for.
No, it seems like CJ Stroud is falling because is it all because of the S2 test?
No,
because
no.
When the Panthers traded up, everybody was like, CJ Stroud, he's the guy. So what is, I've heard about the S2 test. What is the S2 test? And how much does it actually factor into play who these guys are picking?
I don't think the S2 test is, and I don't think CJ Stroud is plummeting. I talked to teams, and a lot of the teams have CJ Stroud number 1 or 2 on their board. So he might go later than expected, but it's not like he's having some free fall out of the first round or anything. Okay, the S2 test. I do a podcast, and I had on the guy a couple weeks ago before it became this bubbling up thing because I had been hearing from a lot of teams, and half the teams in the NFL use this thing. I think it's 2 teams per division, and then like because of the contract that they have, they don't want to use more than 2 teams per division. They want to like just contract 2 teams per division. So you could connect the dots which ones use them. The guy's name was Brendan Ally. He is one of the co-founders, and it's basically it's the Wonderlic for years was like train A leaves the station at 3 p.m. Train B leaves the station at 3:20 p.m. If train A, it's an IQ.
The doctor's the mother, those type of things.
Exactly, and it's like an IQ test, and you have 4 minutes, and it's a 1 to 40 scale. This thing is all about how you process information and how quickly you can process information. So you basically sit in this like virtual reality machine for 45 minutes, and there's objects flying at you, and you've got to yell out the objects. So if you're a defensive back and you're taking the S2 cognition test, they can do it where there's like 9 things going on the screen at once, and you're supposed to spot out, image A, B, C, D, E, F, where are they in what order. If you're a quarterback, it's quick processing. Okay, this is covered up. What's that? So it's not an IQ test. It doesn't grade your intelligence. It grades how quick you can process information in real time. So the numbers that got leaked out there, like everyone's like Bryce Young got 100. I actually heard there was a quarterback, and it wasn't from these guys, it was from another team that graded higher than Bryce Young, and he's not a day one pick, but the Stroud thing, Bob McKinn, who's a really respected journalist, so that he had scores. I don't have the actual numbers. I don't know what Stroud got. I do know Bryce Young was exceptional. I do know Brock Purdy last year was exceptional. And I do know there were other players in recent years that have gone on to great success who have high S2 scores. Then again, that comes from the company, so I don't know what to believe and what doesn't. Like when you hear this stuff, and the company would say, "Well, we didn't put those numbers out," but I can't imagine how those get out otherwise.
Yeah, it
Right.
sounds like Kyler Murray would be awesome at that. It's just like living in the metaverse,
Yeah.
playing a video game.
What'd you make of people being upset that the Cardinals went out to be at Kyler Murray's statue unveiling? There were a lot of people in the league who were like, "See, that's why they're the Cardinals." Instead of grinding tape, they were at Norman, Oklahoma. And my thing, it's like that kid has been so beleaguered and dragged through the mud. Like I think it's kind of nice to have all those people, who's their head coach, offensive coordinator, PR guys, their GM, all go to Norman, Oklahoma on an April weekend to support their quarterback. I think it goes a
It
long
was
way.
nice. Yeah,
It's
It
nice.
was
I-
nice. Yeah, go ahead.
I just thought that Steve Keim wasn't allowed out of the state of Arizona. That's what shocked me about it. But besides that, it was great.
It was nice, and also it's so weird sometimes when injuries happen later in the season. Like I have to keep reminding myself, Kyler Murray's not going to start the season
Yeah,
next year.
it's like out
so
till a couple weeks. Yeah.
in a new staff, it's nice that they're like, hey, this is our guy, even though he's gonna be out. I had one other CJ Stroud question because it was the reason why we had a bub off online between Ryan Clark and Brady Quinn.
was interesting.
Very fun whenever two media members do that,
especially
on Twitter
especially two ex-players. Like we
Right.
don't get that. Usually it's just angry guy on Twitter who writes for publication A versus angry guy on Twitter who works on publication B. Whatever. This was two
Right.
ex-players like getting in their feelings about CJ Stroud's interviews. Go on.
Yeah. So the genesis of the argument was the rumor that C.J. Stroud ghosted the Manning Passing Academy last year, and I think it's this is the time of year where everyone just throws out red flags and smoke screens. I honestly, and you could tell me I'm way off, but like most of these teams know who they're going with. They've already kind of made up their mind what their draft board looks like. So any of this new information, it's either they've already known it and it hasn't affected them, or it just won't affect them, period. But my question to you is, if C.J. Stroud doesn't go 2, Cardinals are at 3. They could trade, but they don't pick a quarterback because they went to Kyler Murray's statue unveiling. Now you're at the Colts at 4, and the one guy who probably, if he has a bone to pick, is Peyton Manning, who probably still has Jim Irsay's ear. Is that in any world a possibility that C.J. Stroud ghosting a passing academy could eventually affect his draft just because it landed on the Colts and Peyton Manning's like, hey, I want them to take Will Levis, not C.J. Stroud?
No.
Okay, all right. So
I would say
none of it matters. None of it matters.
I would say if that item, which I think, Brady, he didn't go to the passing academy, that's for sure. But I don't know if he ghosted them. I think there obviously a lot's been said, and again, not from the Mannings, not from Brady Quinn, not from what I heard was he did give them a proper heads up that he wasn't going to be there, and he was at Ohio State that week, and I don't think the Mannings were up in arms over it by any means. I also think the Manning influence on the Indianapolis Colts as a franchise might be being blown out of proportion just a little bit, because I've heard that, yes, they like Will Levis. I've also heard that there's people in the building who like Stroud. I hear, and we're recording this early in the week, there are people in the building who like Richardson more than both those guys. So as we sit here and we're talking about this, it's, to me, those 3 names, and I think they are going to go quarterback. But if it's Richardson on Thursday and Rich Eisen's mouth drops and we all go nuts, I wouldn't be shocked, because I've heard there's some real fans for Anthony Richardson in the Colts building too. But I don't think Peyton Manning's pulling any puppet strings with the Indianapolis Colts. I have just too much respect for an entire front office, the GM, and as much as Irsay respects Manning, I don't think he's making that pick.
Okay, I like that answer just because we like to live in the fan fiction world of
So do I.
NFL fandom.
Yeah.
So that's a fun connect your dots that I appreciate you being like, no, that's stupid, because it is. But based off that question, you know everyone in the league. You talk to all these guys. How are they set with their draft board? There's no last minute scouting if a story comes out. Obviously we have when someone has a weed
legal
bomb
thing. Yes.
Yeah, right on draft night. But other than that, it's kind of set, right?
I'd say up until this weekend, it wasn't fully set. And I'd say
Okay.
by the time you get to Monday, Tuesday, you look at your scouts, you look at the from what you get the feeling of, you take a deep breath. But everyone was working on it this past weekend. And like the Cardinals guys, talked to some folks there, and like their comment was, yeah, we were all together on a flight to Norman, Oklahoma and back. You don't think we talked about the draft at all during that time? Like everyone
Right.
is all hands on, and most of the guys were in the office this weekend, not at kids' sporting events or whatever else. So coaches, front offices, this was the weekend to kind of firm it all up.
And just so you know, if it happens that the Colts do not pick him and they choose somebody else, if they don't choose C.J. Stroud, we are still going to say
That's fine.
that
Yes.
it's
That's
because
cool.
he
Yeah.
did not attend the passing game. And
It's
also,
a-
the Manning family influence goes far beyond the Colts. Archie Manning runs the NFL. He's the shadow commissioner. He
Right.
pulls all the strings going on. Big Cat brought up the Laramie Tunsil gas mask bong that got dropped on draft night. There are some legal issues for some of these guys that are kind of looming out there early in the first round. Jalen Carter might be, I don't know, some people have said that he's the best player in the draft. Are people scared at all about
Yeah.
the legal situation in Georgia? And is that a possibility that it's going to affect his draft status? Or
I've
his
heard-
draft stock, I should say.
Yeah, I've heard from a couple teams who are not in the top 10 that, Carter's not their guy. So they wouldn't even take him. Then again, Drew Rosenhaus has been doing this for 30 years. He even said it. Like, if he's not sending his guy on to interviews outside the top 10, Jalen Carter, for all intents and purposes, is going to go to the top 10. And the way that the draft shakes out, there are so many teams that need that player. So, like the Seahawks at 5, Jalen Carter is a perfect fit for them. You go right down to the Eagles at 10. Jalen Carter would be a perfect fit in that defense. And with them having the luxury of 2 first-round picks and also all those guys in an NFC Championship game, like Eagles and Jalen Carter would make a lot of sense. Lions have 6 and 18. If the Lions can't get Anderson or Wilson and they're looking at 6, and it's like, do we take a corner or do we take this guy Jalen Carter, and we trust that in our building, all the gambling stuff aside from this past weekend, like in our building we've got the right guys, and Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn, like they can coach him up. I'd be shocked if Jalen Carter fell out in the top 10.
Yeah, it's also very easy for a team that's picking like 19 to say, you know what, if he falls to us, we're out. We're not going to touch that guy.
Precisely.
It's like me
And-
saying like, if Emily Ratajkowski asked me out, I'd be like, you know what, I got dinner plans with my cousin. you
That's
know?
right.
Yeah.
If Emrat was to be interested in you, you're good. I'm all right.
I'm out.
My
I'm out.
cousin-
Yeah,
I'm
off the
fine.
record. Yeah.
Let off the record. Don't put it to me, but yes, off the record. I would also say with Jalen, their Georgia guys have been very positive on him, and I think they rely on that a lot too. And you think, well, every college is positive on their player, but apparently Kirby Smart and all those defensive coaches who are really valued around the league have been like, this is a good dude. And so whether he is or he isn't, I don't know him, but he doesn't have the school being the ones to bury him, which we've seen in the past too.
And someone will take him, like you said. Like we were laughing the other week. There was a report that teams were nervous about Stetson Bennett's off-field stuff, and it's like, well, no, he just wasn't going to get drafted in the top 5 rounds. Like if he was a top 5 quarterback, he would still get drafted as a top 5 quarterback. This is just how the NFL works.
Sure. Yes.
Right. All right. So you brought up the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Would it be crazy if the Seahawks took a quarterback?
No.
Especially if these things drop? Because I think people, a lot of times when we were in the offseason in the NFL, you see the contract get tweeted by Schefter or Rappaport, and then you go on with your life.
Yeah.
Geno Smith signed a 1-year deal. He signed a 1-year deal with, he can make more, but the Seahawks are not tied to him long term. So it feels like they are a sleeping team out there that's going to possibly take a quarterback and kind of upheaval the draft.
Yeah, so it's a 1-year deal essentially for $27 million. They also signed Drew Lock for just 1 year for essentially $4 million. So you're saying your quarterback room is $30 million for this year, and then it's kind of wide open after that. So it goes 2 ways, right? The first way is Seattle. This was a gift. They didn't expect to have this pick, but the Russell Wilson trade, it's like a gift in their lap. They're not going to be in the top 5 anytime soon because they've got such a young, good roster. So take the quarterback while he's there, especially if one drops. The other side of it is, wow, the NFC is wide open. The NFC West is wide open. What if we get an impact player that puts us over the top this year and we trust Geno? Like they love Geno. But to your point, he's 32 years old. He hasn't started before last season for 8 seasons. He signed 4 1-year contracts up to this one. I would not be shocked if they went quarterback at 5, but I would think 5 is such a rich draft pick, and they are so loaded with young players from the draft last year and the year before that if like Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, or Tyree Wilson is there, like they're going to go with the young defensive pass rusher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so who is, the Cardinals obviously most likely to trade,
If
but
they can.
what else are you hearing? If they can, who else is like lingering to possibly trade up? And because that's the best part about the draft, when
Yeah.
a team just jumps and you're like, holy fuck, where'd they come from? What is it like? What team is the most aggressive that you know, or even things you've heard like they're eyeing it if they can find their spot?
Yeah, I love when you hear that chime and it's like the pick is in and then the logo changes.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the
great.
best.
It's great. I think last year there was, I could be wrong, I think 12 in the first round, 12 trades, which is insane. So Tennessee has an interesting situation. Tannehill's in a similar deal as Geno, where it's like he's under contract. Malik Willis last year was a project, and then when they needed him most, they signed Josh Dobbs off the street to play in the Week 18 game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm not sure their future with Malik Willis. And they have a new general manager who kind of has a blank slate on things. They just have so many needs at wide receiver, at offensive line, other places. Rand Carthon's his name. He comes from the 49ers, but he was with the Rams before that. Great dude. He was Maurice Carthon's kid, if you remember the Giants from like the 90s. Awesome evaluator of talent, but also might want to put his stamp on things. And we talk about connecting the dots. Vrabel's an Ohio State guy. If Stroud is there at 3, maybe they go and they make a big play. They go and get CJ Stroud. They have their quarterback. They feel pretty good about it. Or they stay at 11, and one of these guys will be there at 11, and they could be pretty content. But I think quarterback makes a lot of sense for Tennessee, and they're one of those sweet spot teams. You move up a few places. Another team that I would keep an eye on, and I don't know if they would be able to move all the way up to 3, but like Kirk Cousins' contract is done after this year. It's a 1-year, $35 million deal, essentially. If the Vikings are looking for the future, and one of these guys starts slipping past 10, past 11, past 12, again, new front office, new GM, new head coach, and they're second-year guys. Maybe they move up and they go and make a move and get one of them. I wouldn't be shocked with that either.
So
Okay, I like that.
we talk a lot on the show about the Commanders, probably too much for any show about the Washington Commanders. But there's a real football and draft implication in the ownership change that's happening right now. When it comes to the draft, are they going to have to operate differently at any level because they don't know who the new owner is going to be? That's like Dan's on the way out. There's a new guy coming in. They don't have his stamp of approval yet to make any significant moves, salary-wise or making big splashes. Is that going to affect how the Washington Commanders approach the draft this year?
I think naturally, I would think whether they would approach it that way or not, there's a feeling of a little bit of, hey, let's win now. It does us all a favor. Let's get an impact guy who can contribute right away. So I don't see them taking a project quarterback. I don't see them taking a guy that like Hendon Hooker, who you have to wait a year on. I think they're looking to compete this year with new owners coming who are going to be reanalyzing all this. And Ron's been through this. When Tepper came in, it was like, all right, new owner, and okay, I got to deliver. So I have to think he and Martin Mayhew and their staffs are looking to get an impact player, whether that's, and you say, well, they have Brian Robinson, but like, does that mean it's Bijan Robinson? Because you know that he right away can make an impact. Is it a receiver to go with Dotson and McLaurin where you're like, all right, we got to get more offense? Or is it just a corner that's going to start right away? But I don't see quarterback for them. I don't see any project players. I think naturally they're going to want to get guys that can play right away. And the guy I put in my mock draft, and I got feedback from a lot of people being like, he might not even be the first one off the board, is the Utah tight end, Dalton Kincaid. Who, again, I'd be lying if I said I watched a ton of Dalton Kincaid during the season.
I did.
But you know what? You watch all the tape and all the stuff, and you hear some words, and he's not Travis Kelce, but he's a really good tight end, and Bieniemy comes in, and he knows how to use a tight end. So that might make some sense.
Okay, so what's the one team and player you've heard over and over? Because it always feels like when we go in the draft, there's like one or two picks that everyone can kind of telegraph. It's like, this guy's going to be here, and this team is going to take him.
Yeah, that's why this draft is interesting. So I always have certain teams up top that like I feel pretty confident that I know, like whatever it was, and if it was through Cliff or Con, whatever, I've had the Arizona Cardinals for the last few years. I just knew where they were going, knew their board, and felt pretty good. Time and time again, I've had because Houston's at 2 and no one in the league knows what they're doing, and because Arizona's at 3 and has basically put up a billboard to anyone in the league saying, come and get it, you can't in good faith say, all right, well, I know what Seattle's doing. I know what Detroit's doing, because there's going to be such a mix-up of the file. I'm curious to see, because Peter King on Monday mornings has a good article every year, draft week, and he's got good stuff too. I'm curious to see what he says, because I have made all the calls over the past few days, and to a man, every single one of these GMs is asking me what I'm hearing, but also saying, of all the years, this is the least predictable up top because of so much possible action and intrigue. And with 2, 3, and 4, no one having a dartboard pick like, oh, that's the guy for them, it makes 5, 6, 7, 8, and beyond pretty much irrelevant.
This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing, we're always changing. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk through things. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist that can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you happen to be. I personally spoke with a therapist this week. You guys all know I'm dealing with some stuff in my life, dealing with loss. I talked to a therapist this week, had a convenient 45-minute session, got some things off my chest. She taught me different ways to cope, different strategies to get myself out of stressful situations, feeling better. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist, and you switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/PMT today. Get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/PMT. And now, here's more Pete Schrager.
Yeah.
We all know that Jared Goff is the quarterback for the Lions, right? They're not going to take quarterback, right?
I don't think they're
everybody
going
loves
quarterback.
Jared.
6 or 18, I don't think they're going quarterback. That's my intel. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, he's a great player. Great player.
We like
Yes.
Jared, right? We like Jared.
Yeah. No, Jared's our guy.
Great friend.
Yeah.
What about JSN, Stone Cold Lock, first wide receiver off the board?
Him or Addison. And then I know a lot of teams really like the kid Johnston from TCU, who's a bigger body. He's like 6'2". The wide receiver class, and it's nothing against those guys, they can go on to be amazing, but just coming into this thing, there are no blue chippers, there are no top 10 picks. It is a different deal than last year, where there was like 6 names that there was a run on them, and they were taken basically one by one, starting with Drake London. There's none of that this year.
All right, so
Weird draft overall, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
3
Yeah.
really like star players: Bryce Young, Bijan Robinson, Jalen Carter, and then maybe Will Anderson makes that. And then beyond that, there's a lot of good players, but it's not the draft where it's okay, Micah Parsons and this guy and that guy and Jamar Chase. There's none of that.
the Bijan Robinson's interesting because it feels like everyone has learned their lesson. Don't draft running backs like very early in the draft, because a lot of these guys don't get second contracts. Like it's not a position that you want to spend that type of draft capital in. I do think the Bears, there's a chance they take him. I will be mad, and then I'll become the biggest Bijan Robinson fan ever. I will completely be a hypocrite in that respect. So do you think he could go as high? What's the highest you've heard Bijan Robinson go?
I've heard
Falcons?
8 to Falcons does make sense, but I know it sounds like, all right, here's this transcendent generational talent, but they had a 5th-round pick at a BYU, Tyler Algier, who ran for 1,000 yards last year. It's like, do you really need that? 10 to the Eagles is just interesting because it's a luxury. They have so much talent, and it's like they just invested in Jalen Hurts. Give this guy the ball for 4 years. Look, we're talented everywhere else. It's almost a gift that we have this 10th overall pick, and they can make that. Like, 10th makes sense to them. But I've heard Robinson and Gibbs, the running back from Alabama, are both first-round picks. I just don't know where they're going to go, and that's kind of the fun of it. But, yeah, I think anywhere from 6 to 15 for Bijan Robinson.
It's crazy.
Detroit,
6.
But Detroit has Montgomery and Swift, so I don't know why they would do that. But I'm just giving you that range.
Right. It's crazy. I feel like we did learn our lesson.
Yeah, we have. The market hasn't overcorrected yet either. I think the market has just perfectly corrected to understand the value of running backs, especially as Big Cat said, pertains to their contract. Are there any other running back? Who's the second running back off the board, and when do you expect him to go?
Gibbs out of Alabama, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he'll go late first. I could see him going Giants, Cowboys, Chiefs at 31. Like, and he's really talented. He's compared to Kamara, and that's not like it's some crazy hyperbole. He's really good. The thing with it, like, you know, Saquon was offered $12.5 million at the bye week for multiple years, said no, goes to, you know, the contract negotiations. Daniel Jones signs the long-term deal. They franchise Saquon. He's making $10 million now, and it's like no one's crying for Saquon. It just stinks. It's just what it is. Austin Eckler goes on Chris Long's show and says, like, I want to be traded. There's like tumbleweeds around the league. Like, no one even like flinches, and Eckler's amazing. So when Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon are carrying the load in a Super Bowl, it's hard to make the argument for a running back in the top 10.
Yeah, you mentioned how this draft class is so weird compared to some of the others. You don't have to answer this right now, but it'd be awesome if we could go back and we could put together your starting lineup on offense and defense based off just draft class and see which draft class over the last 10 years would win. We should put in a bracket, actually. That's a good idea for Billy.
We should have Billy do a bracket and then have the results already, but then seed them so they can square off. Yeah, that'd be good.
Exactly, yeah. And then he can do like hypothetical matchups. Well, this guy's a great left tackle, but he would get his lunch eaten against this one particular guy.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do that. We will absolutely do that. It's also interesting. I mean, I think it's just the norm now because 5 quarterbacks will go in the first round. Can I say that confidently?
4. I don't know about Hooker.
You don't know about?
4.
Okay.
I think 4. At first, like, I put Hooker all the way up at like 11 in my mock draft last week, and a lot of guys in the league were like, "Yeah, that's rich." I think the best thing for Hooker would be a team trading back into the first round, getting the 5th year on him, so you have this redshirt year with him, and you still get 4 more years.
But it is crazy that we went, you know, it was there's obviously the famous Dan Marino, John Elway draft that was 6 quarterbacks in the first round. But other than that, it's there was 5 quarterbacks in the 99 draft and then the 2018 draft. Then there was another one, 2 years ago?
Yeah,
so it's now, so we're going to have like three of the last 5 years, there'll be 5 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. That's just what the league is now, I guess.
And like next year, you know, and again, it's early, and I remember saying,
no, it's never too early. Don't say that. We actually start putting out our mock drafts for next year before this draft.
Beforehand. But I remember the year before Matt Barkley was drafted in the 4th round, everyone the year before was like, well, you could pass on a quarterback because Matt Barkley is going to be number 1 overall. You know, like, it just, you don't know.
Right.
And I think Matt Barkley's still playing, by the way. So who am I? Shut up. You know, but the next year's class, there's a kid from North Carolina, May. There's obviously a kid out of USC, and then there's a guy up at Washington that everyone loves too. That those 3 could be better than all these guys, you know. So who knows? Yeah,
it's true. All right, so without burning any of your sources and pissing anyone off, I have a long-standing feeling in all of sports, not just the NFL, but there's a lot of front offices where the job is to keep the job. And by that I mean they just want to do whatever's safe to make sure that they can keep doing the same job over and over, not take big swings, not draft someone that then everyone's like, what an idiot. On the flip side, what is the 1 or 2 front offices that you're confidently like, they will take the big swing, they will be aggressive, they're not worried about their job, they're here to try to win Super Bowls?
Always Mickey Loomis with the New Orleans Saints. Does not give a shit about mock drafts. He's been there since the year 2000. He's built Super Bowl winner, and Peyton's gone, but Mickey's still there. They're at the end of the first round. Remember, they traded, you know, to get Chris Olave last year. They traded up to get Marcus Davenport a few years ago. He is the most fearless and is, you know, has carte blanche. So he's one. The other team that I think could take a really big swing if they wanted to move up to get their guy or to just take the guy at 10 is the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think anyone's got more, you know, you talk about a pendulum swinging, whether it's, you know, over the time. But right now I feel like Howie Roseman has the cards in his favor. And I feel like they got so close to a Super Bowl that he can make the justification to the owner and to the fans that, hey, I felt like this player, we had to go get him, and that's going to put us, you know, to win a Lombardi this year.
Yeah, good answers. I didn't think of the Saints.
Well, Saints are like irrelevant because they're at the end of the first round.
Yeah, but no, you're right.
But that's what they do.
Yeah, they do that.
My favorite tradition on draft day is Roger Goodell getting booed, and he's become smart recently. He's kind of leaned into it a little bit, but he also
likes it.
He likes it. He likes it a little bit too much. My favorite part is when sometimes he'll bring out the human shields to protect himself
Yeah.
from the boo. So he'll have either the troops on stage when he comes out, or he'll have like little kids that get walked out with him.
PFT, you gotta say he usually has a troop with like an amputee. That he
Yeah.
knows all.
Capital T troops. They are
Yes,
the
yes.
troops that he brings out. What do you think he's gonna do to shield himself from? He could honestly.
I got
just
it.
thought
I got it. I know it already.
Okay.
I
You
don't
go
know
first,
it.
and then I just hit myself with it. But you go first.
Okay. Kansas City. This is a no-brainer. You've got all these celebrities that are like beloved. You've got Jason Sudeikis is a Kansas City guy, beloved. You've got Eric Stone Street, Kansas City, beloved. You've got David Koechner. You go right down the list.
Paul Rudd.
All these guys. They're all beloved. There is a nice win here if he comes out with some of my buddies and he's out there with all these celebrities and no one's going to be booing David Koechner or Jason Sudeikis. I mean, Jason Sudeikis right now has 100% approval rating. I don't think anyone's booing them, especially in Kansas City. That's how you play that card.
Okay, I agree with you, but I actually think you're right on the money. There's so many well-loved celebrities there. What he should do, he should take the one guy that they'll probably boo and bring him out, and then he'll be like, oh, they're booing. He should go out on stage with Jackson Mahomes and have Jackson Mahomes record a live TikTok on stage right in front of Goodell, and then he'll be like, they're booing this guy, not me.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Jack, you go, take it away, Jackson. And
Yeah.
it goes, and it does it. And I would love it. It'd be great.
And for the record, we're Jackson Mahomes fans.
So am I. Wait,
Huge
I met him.
Jackson Mahomes.
We
Wait,
think
I
he's
met him.
hilarious.
I met him at the AFC Championship game last year. I was on the field before the game, and I got the credential, and I'm acting like a big shot. And there he is. I shot my shot. I went up to him and said, yo, bro, good to meet you. He's like, thanks, man. It was cool. He was great. I loved him. And so now, I mean, everyone wants to knock him. I think that's such low-hanging fruit. Can you imagine being Jackson Mahomes? That's a tough life, man.
Well, it's also a very funny thing because Patrick Mahomes is like what everyone should aspire to be in terms of like the most loyal family member.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
he's ride or die with his family.
I kinda
Why
dig that.
are we criticizing that? Wait, I'll add one more because
Yeah.
I was thinking Jackson Mahomes as well. What if we had Jackson come out and Brittany had a champagne bottle, and in the champagne bottle was cash. So she just sprays the whole crowd with cash.
Perfect.
Everyone gets some cash.
Perfect. I still think in Kansas City, though, I think they like Jackson. I
No,
think they
yeah,
like
of
Brittany.
course.
So I don't even know if you get those boos that way. I feel like
No,
they're fan
we'll get
favorites.
cheers. We get cheers.
Cheers.
All right, I had one last question, Peter. This has been awesome. Roback question, RHOBACK.com. They have new shorts for the summer.
I love Michael
check
Rubin
them out.
asking about Roback, like
Yeah.
it's like the competitive like signals where like the
Yeah.
synapses.
He's like, I gotta squash
by the
that.
way, are you hanging with Charlie D'Amelio and slicing your finger?
Yeah, I think when he heard us say Roback, he's like, I got to stay up 20 hours a day working now because I
Yeah,
got to meet the
this-
10
Right.
o'clock.
they're done.
I respect the hell out of that guy.
yeah.
He's going to be all of our bosses at some point, so I'm just going to
Yes.
shut up. Yep.
Yes, Roback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use code TAKE 20% off your first purchase. New shorts. They have joggers, they have polos, Q-zips, hoodies, everything. Last question, not about the draft.
Okay.
The Lions thing that we mentioned, the gambling issue.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly happened? And if I can understand it correctly, they just made a bet on another sport in the Lions facility.
That's-
There should be a rule in the NFL that like if you lose the bet, you can't be also suspended. That's like that should be double jeopardy. Like if he lost, that was the thing with Calvin Ridley. Like the dude was losing parlays. You shouldn't get suspended for losing parlays. If he was winning, different. But so what happened and how did it go down and how many people ended up getting fired?
I think 6 guys got hit with it, and 2 of them are still on the team. I think some of the other guys got cut, and then Jamison Williams is just 6 games, and another guy's just 6 games. The way I read it into it, and look, I work for the NFL, so I have to take a full, HR mandatory gambling policy. I don't participate in fantasy football. I don't participate in March Madness tournaments, and I cannot go into a sports book and place, bets as just an employee of the NFL. And the players, everyone on Twitter was like, that's such BS because, they're in bed with all these different gambling companies. I think the players have to get similar training. They're well aware of it. And the rule is in the facility, they cannot bet on other sports and they can't log in, and they have activation. You could find the IP address, and there's all sorts of ways that they can track that. I believe Miles Austin, who was the former Cowboys receiver, was working for the Jets. He too got stung with that during the season, placing a bet on his phone in the facility on another sport. And the people there were like, I didn't even know that was what, but okay, like it's what it is. The rule is the rule. The players are signed on through the CBA that they know the deal. I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, but like they have to go through rigorous training on the gambling policy. So if they did not know it and they get it, I guess they got to deal with the consequences.
So can you text Roger, because I know you're close personal friends with him, and just tell him that like if it's a losing bet, they shouldn't get suspended. They should also release all the bets. Like I want to see what Jameson Williams. Yeah, I want to see if Jameson Williams was like he was betting on the Reds on a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Because like if he lost that bet, he should not be suspended. That's my.
Your thought is they've
take.
already lost the money. Why
Correct.
have
Yeah. Right. Like you can't. It's double jeopardy. I think
Double
legally it is.
jeopardy. You're already getting slapped on the wrist.
You've lost. You've lost. Don't also take away their jobs.
Yeah. The NFL is pretty strict on the gambling thing, and they got a beating from all the people and the critics online and all the ex-players. Like, no, wait, hold on a second. You're going to tell me you're going to take the draft. I think it's a really serious issue, and they are well versed. The Players Association knows the rules, and I think that's just the deal.
Okay,
Peter, I have one last question. This is from our good friend Memes. He works on the show. He does. He runs the social for us.
Constantly doing Islanders hockey on Twitter, though. Okay, but go on. Let's go. Yeah.
Yep. Huge Isles fan, huge Jets fan as well. So he wanted to ask you if you personally would trade the 13th overall pick for a 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
I would not.
Okay.
I would not. I have no assurance that he's with me next year or the year after that. I would need some sort of conditional situation. I wouldn't give the first round pick for a 39-year-old quarterback, whoever it is. And in Rodgers' case, when you say that you're 90% retired before going to the darkness retreat, I think it's kind of tricky for a team to give up a first round pick when you hear that on thing. But they trust me, the Jets want Rodgers. They cannot wait to have Rodgers. They will get Rodgers. My prediction is night 2, it probably goes down.
Ooh.
And it might involve one of those, the 42nd or 43rd pick, which they have back to back, and then some other conditional stuff beyond that.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's so interesting because it seems like neither team has the leverage in this situation.
They don't.
Because Aaron's told the Packers he doesn't want to play for them, so the Jets know that he is not going to be a Green Bay Packer, and the Jets
They don't
Packers,
want Zach Wilson.
Yeah, the Packers know
Right.
that. So it seems like Aaron Rodgers is the one with leverage, and his ultimate leverage is actually just walking away from $50 million, which isn't that much leverage either. So it's like a non-leverage game.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing is why I mentioned that 42nd and 43rd pick. It's like the second you get to night 3 of the draft, you're losing an entire year's worth of draft picks that you could trade the Packers. Like the value of next year's picks is way less than this year's because they want their picks to play next season. Like they want them on the field. They don't want these fictional, picks from way down the road. So if they don't trade one of those second round picks, like this thing could drag on even more.
I just want the Packers to take a wide receiver in the first round
I think they might.
badly.
Dude, I think they might.
Oh, it'd be the funniest thing ever. It'd be a spite pick. I want to see a spite pick.
The way it works, like truly, the way it's working out, like I think all those receivers could be available at 15. They have never taken a receiver or a tight end in all of his years in the first round, and I think they might take a receiver or a tight end. And yeah, you know what? This doesn't come from the Packers, but like the word I've got from a lot of different people is like, look, he goes on McAfee. I thought he was pretty eloquent. I thought he was pretty good. The Jets loved it. Everyone, when you don't thank the GM, when you don't thank the current president, like, all right, like little things like that, we'll take a receiver and we'll make sure Jordan Love is going to have as much success as possible next season.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, he might be whatever receiver they take. I might be the only Packer I ever root for in my entire life.
Can you imagine being Rodgers in the pandemic? It's 2020, and you're like right on the cusp. You just won the MVP, and they trade up, and you're like, oh shit, we're getting Brandon Ayuk or we're getting Jordan whatever it was. And they took a quarterback. It's I mean, in hindsight, it's wild. It's wild.
He's like trying to change the channel from the draft, and Fauci's on the news and going back to it. He's like, God damn, this is just not my night.
Not his night. Fauci and the Packers front office not his favorite folks. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much, Peter. We appreciate it. Good luck on paternity leave after the draft. That was a sneaky genius move by you. You went paternity leave. then NFL draft, then a little more paternity leave. Left yourself a little something.
Broke it
That's
up. Little
smart.
meat on the bone.
Yeah,
was
I
good.
found
Congrats on
out
the
just
sex.
Yeah, it was
I-
awesome.
I found out a few. I found out a few weeks ago that we have like 4-month paternity leave
Really?
at Barstool.
No,
Yeah,
I took 3 weeks and then I get 2 more, so I get 5 weeks, which I'm fired up about. But 4
Okay.
months, bro?
Yeah,
Has
it's
anyone
something
taken
crazy.
it? Because
I
there's
think
this
people
whole other
have.
part of it where it's like, if you actually take the full thing, like, do you start feeling the itch to get back? Or
Yeah, it's
you
toxic
also,
work culture. Yeah. No, I'm all for a toxic work culture. That's why we tell Hank never to take a vacation.
Well, Hank's going to become a sperm donor just so that he can take 4 months paternity leave like 5 times a year.
Because I was on that 3rd week and it was like, I will be. I just am ready to kind of get involved in the NFL mix again. you
Yes,
know? Like, it's
yes,
it.
yes.
It's it.
All right, well, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it, and good luck on all the draft stuff you got going on Thursday.
You guys are awesome. PFT, my condolences to you. I thought what you said at the start of the podcast last week was beautiful and spoke to a lot of people. You guys are awesome.
Pete was brought to you by Rocket Money. Do you know right now how much your subscriptions really cost you? Most Americans think that they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions, but the actual total is closer to $200. If you don't know exactly how much you're spending every month, you need Rocket Money. It's going to save you money. Rising prices could be stressing you out, and if you're looking for ways to cut costs, you need Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills, all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions that they forgot about. Chances are you're one of them. Like that Stars app just to watch one show, or the free gaming trial that you never actually used. Well, Rocket Money will quickly and easily find those subscriptions for you, and for any that you don't want to pay for anymore, just hit cancel. Rocket Money cancels it for you. It's just that easy. Rocket Money also helps you manage all your finances in one place and automatically categorizes your expenses, so you can easily track your budget in real time and also get alerted if anything looks off. Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel those subscriptions. Manage your expenses the easy way. Go to rocketmoney.com/take. That's rocketmoney.com/take.
All right, I'm gonna wrap it up with lottery ball. Max sleptwalk. Max sleptwalk because did you get incepted in sleepwalking?
I don't know. We have been talking a lot about sleepwalking in the past couple of weeks, so it was strange that it happened when it did.
And what happened? By the way, the Oilers just tied it up 4-4, and the Timberwolves are going to not get swept. So retract what I said about them getting swept.
Let's go Wolves.
They're back. Max, you sleptwalk?
Yeah, it was bad. It was not the best situation of sleepwalking. Last night, I woke up. I slept at my girlfriend's apartment. Woke up, went to bed in her bed. Woke up in her roommate's bed with her. With her roommate.
Max!
Oh, wait.
Max!
Did you pee
Were you
anywhere?
cuddling?
No,
Were you
there
cuddling?
was no peeing. There was no cuddling. But I did wake up. I woke up at 8:30 this morning, and I looked up, and I was like, "This is weird." And am I sleeping?
Wait,
I'm
you
like,
slept the whole night?
the whole night.
Oh my god!
Whole night with my girlfriend's roommate.
This is a
Oh
great
my
excuse.
You still have
What do
a
you mean?
girlfriend?
This is a great excuse,
Yeah,
Max.
no. It actually it wasn't a big deal at all.
So wait, so what happened when you woke up?
So I woke up, and I look at the ceiling. I was like, "This is weird." Like I know I slept here, and I just turned over, and I was like, "Oh my god." and luckily she's great. Like we're friends. Shout out Meg.
Yes,
Meg,
I mean,
yeah,
you sleep in the
yeah,
same bed with her.
yeah. And I just looked at her. I was like, "What the fuck am I doing in here?" And she's like, "You tell me, brother." And
Wait, were you able to get back to your bed
yeah, no, I
before
went.
she woke up? Your girlfriend woke up?
No. I went immediately. I was like, I just slept in Meg's bed all night. I
was
guess.
she already awake when you
No,
woke up?
she was asleep, but I mean, I was like,
That's gotta be the worst case scenario.
That's
For her.
horrendous.
Poor Meg.
But I thought she was gonna be like, she was pretty much unfazed. She stayed asleep the entire time. I was like, what the fuck am I doing in here? She was like, I don't know, and then just went continued
Were you
sleeping.
farting?
I was definitely snoring. I was like,
He was farting.
I was probably farting
so
too. I was-
much.
Did you pee?
You farted so
no, I did
much.
not pee. I did not pee. That would have
Oh
been.
my
a lot.
God, Max, that's so bad.
Yeah, no.
That's how bad you're thinking about Hank and the Celtics. That you're just sleepwalking.
The soul patch is the 2 months is.
Not
they-
yet.
How do you think?
Executive.
How do you think Meg would have felt if she woke up next to a beardless guy with a soul patch?
Yeah.
Would that have changed anything?
Also, this is so crazy that Max, like, for all the tough talk he's had, you know, when the Sixers went ahead of the Celtics for those couple days and we leaned into it, the 2 months is only if you get swept. You clearly think you're going to get swept.
Well, I don't know what the MVP. You don't even know what he's like right now.
He's gas. I tell you one thing.
Gas is the wrong word.
He's out of shape.
Gas is the wrong word.
You think
You
you're
told
going
me
to
he
get
was
swept.
I don't think that they're gonna get swept, but I am scared.
How'd you feel about Doc Rivers' comments about the MRI?
No, that's Doc.
Is it 50-50?
He's doing little mind games. He wants the Celtics.
Yeah,
he wants.
come on.
He said it
He's
was a
not-
bad
Or the Hawks.
MRI.
Or the Hawks. That's
A
the other
bad
thing. The Hawks-
MRI? You said a bad
No.
MRI?
a sprained knee is nothing.
You said a
anything,
bad
I could
MRI?
have a sprained knee right now.
Yeah. Well, you probably do.
You
yeah.
are an NBA player.
Yeah.
What does that prove? Dude, I'll sprain my knee right now. I swear to God. I'll fucking do
I've been
it.
sitting here producing this whole podcast with a sprained knee. I wouldn't say anything.
My
about
toe, I could have a sprained toe right now easily.
So we did the MRI. It just feels like whenever they tell a coach we're going to get an MRI, it doesn't turn out well most of the time. And this one did not.
Oh, no, Max.
He's
The
gonna
best
be
part about
fine.
all this
He's
is
gonna
when
be
he
fine.
got injured, we were because Max was at the game. We're like, Embiid's injured. And he's like, no, he's not. You guys are lying. Turns out we were right.
Well,
Apologize.
you were trying to lie.
No.
you were.
No, I said he was injured.
And that you guys were just fucking with me that entire game.
Turns out we were exactly right.
Yeah, not really though.
This is going back to the same thing with the UCLA. Like, he was injured. He had a sprained knee.
This is not the UCLA.
He had a sprained knee when I texted you.
No,
Yeah. No, he literally
we were
had
waiting for the MRI.
No.
We've already seen the MRI.
He literally had a sprained knee when he sprained his knee, and then I texted you. The MRI doesn't sprain his knee.
But when you texted me the UCLA thing, we hadn't seen the MRI. That's all I kept saying.
He was
wait
tore
for the
his
MRI.
Achilles. It's the same thing. I don't think you understand how injuries work. When you get injured, you're injured. The MRI just confirms that you were injured.
Correct.
But he was injured. I said he's injured.
Yes. And we've already discussed that Embiid is hurt. He's not injured.
Okay. Bad MRI.
Not a
Sounds
bad.
bad.
Wait, did Doc say when he said this time it did not? Was he saying this time it did not deliver bad news like he's
Yeah,
used to?
it could. I was thinking that too. Good point, BFD.
No.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Hank, read the quote again.
There was swelling already, which was too early, so we did the MRI. It just feels like whenever they tell a coach we're going to get an MRI, it doesn't turn out well most of the time. And this one did not.
So that might be like this one did not turn out badly.
Give me this quote. Let me see this quote.
That's a tough quote. Doc needs to clean it up.
Something about some swelling. It was always a scary thing was about it. Was swelling already, which is too early, so we did the MRI. It just feels like when we tell a coach we're going to get an MRI, it doesn't turn out well most of the time, and this one did not.
I honestly have no idea.
I think it's a bad MRI. I think it's a bad MRI.
The fact that we're talking for this long about an MRI makes me believe it's probably not a good MRI.
No, he could have stubbed his toe, and you guys would have been talking about this for this long.
This was an MRI.
I mean, he just falls so much.
But he does it on purpose.
Max,
I've
fact-
already
Stop
said
doing
this.
that.
No, it's better. It's better that he falls.
Fact or fiction, would you get an MRI if you weren't hurt? Like a recreational MRI?
Just to check it out. Actually, I would.
Ah,
Just 'cause I'd like to see like what's going on, like a full body scan.
out of sight, out of mind.
But wait, if he keeps falling and you're like, it's better that he's falling, but he keeps getting hurt, maybe he should try to stop falling?
No, the falling is good. The falling.
But he keeps getting hurt.
But you don't know what it would be like if he.
It
didn't
couldn't be
fall.
worse than
It
always
could be
getting
worse.
hurt.
It could be worse. He played like basically the whole year this year. The timing of it sucks. I'm not gonna
It
deny
happens
that.
every year at this time.
I know, and that sucks, and that's unfortunate. But everyone's getting hurt these playoffs. All right. Why is it just Embiid? Whatever.
Oh man.
The falling is good.
The falling is good. That is the thing. Memes and I were watching a video on it earlier today. Memes back me up.
What, the one that was like the MVP? This is the MVP. This is disgusting for the league, and it was just a flop compilation.
No, it's not a flop. It's he chooses to fall because it's better for his body. You see, you wouldn't understand.
You don't get it.
You don't get
You don't
it.
get it. You don't get it.
You don't get it. I love this Hank because Max is so flustered. He has no answers, and Hank's just fucking. He's not even doing anything. He's just stating facts, and it just puts him in a tailspin.
That's all I ever do.
That's true. That's what I've been saying.
Thank you.
I've always said that you just say facts.
Facts.
No looks, just facts.
No fiction.
Right.
Yeah, just facts.
And people keep
76%
coming
from
at
three.
you.
Just facts.
It's bullshit. 76 for 3. Yeah.
I hope Hank gets a lottery ball today.
Thank you, Max.
Yeah.
He's gaslighting.
That's not true.
Don't let him do that.
That's
No,
not
that was
gaslighting.
genuine.
No,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't.
That's
no,
not
it wasn't. That was gaslighting. Okay. Hank, have you ever gotten this?
Nope.
I am not rooting for you to get this.
I am
Numbers.
69.
17.
20. I can see it right here.
76.
What has Hank been going on?
Last
99.
two have been double numbers, 55, 99. In April, we've also seen 77 twice. So
I'll go 66.
I feel like this angle of it, Hank, you should get it way more often than you do.
That's what he thinks.
It's a hot seat.
$21. 21.
That's closer than usual. Hank.
Yeah, you're kind of close.
4 off.
You should celebrate that one. Why not?
8th time, time for a second.
8th time? I should start guessing 21. We should all should. Think about guessing 21 next time?
I won on 21 once.
This doesn't count.
Come back in base. No, can we make it count?
Nope.
I hope it's 17. So.
35. Doesn't count.
Love
All
you
right.
guys.
Yeah, we'll see everyone on Wednesday.
The Siberian forest cat can survive in temperatures down to 5 degrees Fahrenheit.
Love you guys.
It's almost narcissistic to think that you are going somewhere else after you die.
I'm paying 20 people to film me talk to you. I'm a hardcore narcissist.
True, good point.
Are you
Hard
fucking
point.
kidding me? I'm not a cook, and I have a cooking show.
A defensive guy, and everyone's just doing the. Okay, we now welcome on recurring guest because you were on with us at Kentucky Sports Radio. It is Kentucky quarterback Will Levis, who is about to be in the NFL draft. Big time AWL, long time listener. We're a fan of his. He's a fan of ours. We hope he has great success in the NFL. We're going to do one question with a quarterback in person. First time we've ever done one question in person. So, Will, my question is, Graham Mertz is going to Kentucky. Can you give him some recommendations on where to eat and also how to play good football? Because I would like to see him be successful.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Is this confirmed?
I'm pretty sure it's confirmed.
I haven't seen any news about that, so that's news to me.
Let's just pretend it. All right, so if Graham Mertz were going to Kentucky, where would he eat and how would he play good football? That's 2 questions. Shit.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on again. It's really cool to be referred to as a recurring guest.
Yes.
I've heard so many other people been referred to as, so that's really cool. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely not a shortage of good food in Lexington. I'd first say from a steakhouse. For steakhouses, I go to Malone's. That's where I went every Sunday with my offensive line.
Not Jeff Ruby's.
I was gonna say Jeff Ruby's after that. I think I am a little bit biased in that I did have a deal with Malone's to
all right.
bring the O-line
Fuck
out.
Jeff Ruby.
Nope, not fuck
Oh.
Jeff Ruby. I'm a big friend of Jeff Ruby as well, and he's got an excellent restaurant. But Malone's and Jeff Ruby's can't go wrong with either of those steakhouses. Big fan of Carson's downtown. Good brunch, Southern style place. You're always gonna get a good meal there. And for breakfast, you got to go to Josie's in Chevy Chase Plaza. We go there almost every Sunday after games with me and my family when we go. So he's definitely not going to have a problem having success there. I'm aware of his game. I know him well.
I'm familiar
talked
with
to him
your
a little
game,
bit
young
recently.
man.
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm familiar with your game, young man.
Yeah, familiar with the game, young man. But I've talked to him a little bit recently just to kind of give him some inside look at.
Okay, we now welcome on recurring guests because Kentucky's
those steakhouses. Big fan of Carson's downtown. Good brunch, Southern style place. You're always going to get a good meal there. And for breakfast, you got to go to Josie's in Chevy Chase Plaza. We go there almost every Sunday after games with me and my family when we go. So he's definitely not going to have a problem having success there. I'm aware of his game. I know him well.
I'm familiar
talked
with
to him
your
a little
game,
bit
young
recently.
man.
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm familiar with your game, young man.
Yeah, familiar with the game, young man. But I've talked to him a little bit recently just to kind of give him some inside look at what Kentucky football looks like, and he seems to like it, as I think any quarterback in the country should.
Okay. Good answer. Also, just a cheat code, like if you just talk about food places in a city, everyone's gonna be like, that's awesome. He likes that place.
That was the first thing I talked about with him. I was like, listen, I came from Penn State, which quite frankly does not have any good food. And that was a big kind of knock on it. And coming to Kentucky was a good change of pace.
Yeah, Max hates you right now, Max. Max hates every guest because we've been on a streak recently of guests just hating on the state of Pennsylvania.
I mean, Penn State just doesn't have great food. That's
okay.
fact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
All right. Okay.
This is not a question, but I just would like to say it's a good thing that you said that you take your offensive line places to eat. I think that's good leadership.
That's a good
Draft
comment.
stock up.
I will say that I got inspired by Kenny Pickett. I think he was the first guy that announced to do something like that, and I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's my first year starting. Hopefully I can get something similar happening. And so props to Kenny. I know he's also a recurring guest. And,
Yes. Love it.
Pretty good friend of mine, so
Yeah.
thank you, Kenny.
Take care of the guys up front. They'll take care of you.
Also, I want to retract fuck Jeff Ruby because I actually met him. He's a really nice guy.
Okay, my question is, you're a big mayo boy.
Yep.
You love the mayo.
Yep.
I'm a big mayo boy too. I think we're all in this room fans of the mayonnaise.
Mayo.
What's your favorite thing to put mayonnaise on?
That's a good question. I'm probably gonna have to go with any kind of club or deli sandwich. I think you can't have one of those sandwiches without having some mayo on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna give out any free sponsorships, but I'm a big Hellman's guy. Not a believer in Miracle Whip.
Okay.
But
no free sponsorships. Yeah.
Yep. You know, maybe just like any kind of regular mayo on a classic club like turkey, bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, mayo.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong
now
with
you're
that.
talking my language.
Mayo.
People that are anti-mayo, I think they're idiots. They're just they're doing a performance out here. Try eating a dry sandwich, and then get back to me. Also, fun little holiday treat: do a little mayo nog. Just mayonnaise and whiskey. That's it. Give it a shot.
Mayo coffee.
I don't know if I'll be trying that.
Oh,
But
give it a shot. Give it a shot. I think you'll like it.
Isn't it mayo coffee?
You
Oh,
drank
I
mayo
can't
coffee.
I can't ask
You drank. You drank mayo coffee.
I did.
If I were in your position, I would not be looking down my nose at mayo nog
Yeah, it's just
that's a fair point. I might have to give it a shot.
or
Yeah.
mayo mac.
Yeah.
It's just macaroni and mayonnaise.
Yeah.
It's a winter treat for the
No
whole family.
cheese, just macaroni.
No,
I mean,
you,
just
you-
mayo.
you bake it up real nice. You won't even miss the cheese.
Yeah.
Trust me.
All right, Billy. I love when a quarterback comes in like you will, and like Billy just sizes you up, and it's like, oh, this could have been me.
He did get a little close to me. He was looking me up and down a little bit.
All right, Billy, go ahead.
All right, so Kool-Aid McKinstry, Jalen Hyatt, they all got NIL deals linked to their names. I know it's pronounced differently, but how come we didn't get a Will Levi's?
Unreal. I
Levi's,
tweeted at him and everything. I tried my best. I tried to make it happen.
That's crazy.
Just nothing ever came about it. I mean, I'm not going to hold it against him if they want to do something at the next level, but I feel like it just makes sense. I had friends call me Blue Jeans. I mean, Levi's, Levis. People pronounce my last name like Levi's all the time because of the name connection, but it just makes sense, you know? I mean, I feel like they'd be crazy to not make it happen. I'm also a Levi's wearer. I mean, I only have a couple pairs of jeans, and they're like they're Levi's. So I mean, it makes sense. And Levi's, if you're listening, hit me up.
Yeah. Or Billy.
Muggsy?
I'm talking to Billy about
Sorry,
this.
yeah.
He could change his last name to Muggsy.
Muggsy, yeah.
Will
Muggsy would hook him up.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
Yeah.
Superior Gene.
Yeah. Muggsy, get the clutch.
Careful,
jeans at
whenever Billy
Muggsy.com.
starts talking about superior genes, that's usually the time when we have to cut him off.
All right, Jake.
Yeah, hey Will, Jake Marsh, part of my Take podcast. You're a notable AWL. It's always cool when we see the athletes we're talking about listen to us. So my question is, when was the last time, if at all, you listened to Part of My Take on a game day?
Game day, I watched. I swear, I was bad at text Big Cat before it, but it wasn't my last game. But the Georgia game, I was listening to the episode from that Friday on the field as I was warming up.
Hell yes.
And I'm not like a pregame kind of like superstition type of guy. Like sometimes I listen to music, but usually I'm caught up at that point. Usually I listen to the Friday episode and I hadn't finished it. So I was like, all right, well, I mean, I have no other choice now. So yeah, I have done that, and I feel like not many other guys are listening to podcasts pregame.
I like that because you were like, before I played Georgia, I got to double check to make sure Hank, in fact, did not get the lottery ball correct.
Yep.
That's what I was going to say. So before taking on the number 1 team in the country, that's the latest thing on your mind.
Yeah, it's just
non-football
failing
wise.
yet again.
I think that's one of the cooler.
We'll let you do it.
Oh no, I'm saying cooler promo things you guys have done recently with having a fan compete as well, and if they get it before Hank, you guys pay him. That's going to be awesome to see how that plays out.
We'll do one with you.
Yes,
so that,
please.
Because Hank's not even in here, so it'll be great.
I feel like if you listen to the Dungeons and Dragons episode before a game, that would get me really pumped.
Yeah, I've listened. She knows a little bit about Tim, so I mean,
he's a legend.
Yeah, he is a legend.
He's one of our favorite people in the entire world.
It's gotta be.
Absolutely. All right, Max.
I actually do have a question.
Okay.
I normally get texted questions. When you were at Penn State, quarterback room with Sean Clifford, what was it like when you just knew you were better than him?
I mean, I obviously always thought that with the confidence that I have, and I feel like every quarterback's got to have that kind of mindset if they want to be successful. But I mean, it was tough, man. It's tough to be the one position other than kicker and punter and long snapper that is, I think, that no one else plays. You know, no one else is rotating. There's only one person on the field at one time, and even if you're just a hair behind the guy that's starting, you're not going to get reps unless the guy gets hurt or it's a blowout, whatever. So I mean, it was a tough situation. I mean, I kind of just had to put my head down and just keep working. And then when the kind of opportunity and realization came that transferring would probably be the best opportunity for me, then I just kind of went with my gut and went there. But Sean and I are excellent friends. I just announced I declared yesterday. He was one of the first people to hit me up and say congrats and everything, and we love each other, and I wish him the best in everything that he's doing, and he wishes me the best as well.
Shit, I didn't text you.
That's a good question, Max.
But I mean, I knew you were going to declare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think that was
you were
known.
going
I
to
just
declare.
didn't know if I was going to play in the bowl game or not.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Wait, congrats.
Yeah,
Thank you.
congrats.
Congrats on declaring.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, declaring.
Fully
Memes.
declared.
So it's going to be a big story. So let's get in front of it.
Memes,
What's your
be
hand
more
size?
obvious you're reading your phone.
So it's going to be a good story.
Wait,
Memes,
Memes, put the camera on yourself.
Yeah. Memes, be a little natural here.
There we go.
Just ask it however you would want to ask it. Okay?
What's your hand size?
Okay, there we
Ooh,
go.
good
Yeah.
question, good
That's
question.
hey, that is going to be a big story.
Yeah,
They're big.
I haven't. Do you guys have a ruler in
Those
here?
are big.
actually?
Wait. We can use the iPhone measurement tool.
Yeah, I do know I have big hands. I think it's anywhere between 10 and a quarter and 10 and a half.
Whoa.
So I
Those
knew
are
that
huge.
I would have had, I think, one of the bigger hands in the draft class last year.
All right, we're doing this live on air. This is going to be, please.
Hey, but don't you stretch it? You get to put it on the. All right, yeah. All right, there we go. There we go.
So this is when they report this after the combine, just please credit Part of My Take because we had it first. Will Levis's hand size. PFT's doing the calculations.
All right, we got official measurement.
Official measurement. Here it comes.
10 and a half. They're huge.
Whoa! Those are fucking.
They're
massive.
huge. And trust me, my phone sometimes makes things like not as long as you would think when you measure them. So like, it's a legit 10 and a half.
Billy just looked up his hands. He's like, Yeah, I'm about that.
I got tens.
Do you?
Yeah, that's actually
That's-
not
that's
that
good.
bad.
Okay, all right.
10.5 is like, okay, so he takes his offensive lineman out to dinners, and he's got big hands. We're like half.
Likes Mayo.
Loves Mayo.
Loves Mayo.
Now we're 75% of the way to like draft WillLevis.com.
Yes. Oh, it might happen. It might happen. All right. So, Will, you have one question for us.
Oh, I do. I should have known that this was a possibility. But
Be anything. Just be a thought starter.
No. I would say, if you guys had to kick someone off of the podcast in the room, who would it be?
Billy.
I mean, that was the obvious answer.
Good question.
I'd like to kick one guy on my draft board.
Yeah, you're gonna get dinged in Billy's quarterback bracket now.
His quarterback bracket is...
It's influential.
And there was a week in time where his quarterback bracket actually looked correct, where Sam Ehlinger started and Trevor Lawrence was struggling. So that will be his quarterback bracket. I'm excited for next year.
You maybe made a very powerful enemy in Billy football, actually.
Hey, I didn't say it. They did.
You set us up, though.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You knew.
All right, so you want to do numbers?
Yes,
All
please.
right. I'll go 17.
I was literally
Oh,
going to
you go 17. You go 17.
Is this official?
Yeah, this is official.
Okay.
But
This
Hank's
counts.
not here.
Hank's not here. It doesn't count for him. But
Where is Hank?
So we're not including Sebastian.
Will, you get 17.
Yep.
I'm gonna do 29.
Okay.
18.
Okay.
20.
3 for memes. Billy, you have 69. I will do. What was your number?
17.
In college?
7. It was 17 my freshman year, and then 7 the last 4
All right, I'll do
years.
7.
All right.
Wow, if you got 17, Will, this would be something else.
I hope it's 17.
69?
No.
What is that?
68?
68. 68. Hasn't 68 won recently, Jake?
68. Hank never would have gotten it, just so everyone knows.
Yeah.
Hank never would have gotten this one.
October 23rd.
Okay. That's pretty recent.
Yeah, that's
The
pretty recent.
sixth time.
Yeah. All right. Well, Will, thank you. One question with the quarterback. We're rooting for you, and you're a recurring guest, so you have to come back on when you get drafted. And yeah, best of luck, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
In there, well, Broncos in there.
That sounded fantastic. Much honor to you boys as well, and to everybody around the globe that is watching. We can't thank you enough for allowing us to do this every single day. Now, after we went off the air yesterday, some massive news broke around the NFL. Aaron Rodgers was officially traded to the New York Jets. For 40 days, we had been waiting and waiting for something to happen, and the decision between the Packers and the Jets came to be yesterday at about 4:35 p.m. yesterday after the show went off the air. We hopped back into the studio, back onto the microphones. Well, some people were playing a little pickleball.
What?
Some people were in the Hawk House working on their guns.
What?
And then we hopped up here and we started chit-chatting about the deal that was done. And we can't help but be very incredibly proud of both parties.
Yeah, there you go.
I've said some things about Kuntz. I question whether or not we can automatically assume he's a great GM, because now we're going to get a chance to really see all his draft picks, his team moving on from the era that he was kind of handed to, which was the Aaron Rodgers era, and he might go on to be an incredible GM.
Sure.
I feel like the fact that he was able to get a first rounder next year, a conditional first rounder, which we all assume will become a first rounder from a second rounder, because Aaron Rodgers will play at least 65% of the games. Aaron Rodgers is an Iron Man. Now, this is not a guaranteed first first rounder, but it is a conditional first rounder with a first round swap, 2 picks in his first year, giving up a 5th rounder, getting a 2nd and 6th in return as well. So I think it's a good deal for both sides. I think both teams should be incredibly proud of what they are. And both teams online were telling the other team that they were getting fleeced.
That's right.
That's when you know a fucking great deal took place.
Yep.
Both teams thought they won it. Both teams did win it. And now we're at a situation where Aaron Rodgers is in the AFC East for real. The Talks Table looks a little bit different today, but it's going to be just as fantastic. At Boston Connor is sitting next to the icon that is Pac-Man Jones. Pac-Man, we appreciate you obviously traveling out every single week to see us. Ty Schmidt, as everybody heard towards the end of yesterday's show, cannot speak. We believe he has a double ear infection.
Yikes.
So that means he could not hear anything. And, you know, I'm not a big ear infection guy. I haven't really had a lot of these. But my dog gets them. And when my dog gets an ear infection, you're talking about just like full misery, head shake, how you doing, keep it moving. I think Ty has it in both fucking ears right now.
Not good.
Heard that towards the end of the show yesterday. Ty, hey, we're pulling for your ears and for you, pal.
T's and P's, Ty.
So sitting in Ty's spot is Pac-Man Jones, and obviously we're thankful for that. But the AFC East looks a lot different today than it did just yesterday. I think everybody kind of assumed this was going to happen, but now it is the reality. Both newspapers over there, the Daily News and the New York Post or whatever, Jolly Rogers, rejoice, the Daily News says we have a quarterback. And then in Green Bay, they're actually painting over the fucking mural of Aaron Rodgers already.
Get him out.
Feels like everybody won. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, granted, who knows what next season looks like for the Green Bay Packers or the New York Jets.
Yep.
The New York Jets team is very young, very talented. This will be the best defense that Aaron Rodgers has had since they won a Super Bowl, is what everybody said.
Arguably, it is.
Massive market.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Talent all around him. Alan Lazard, his guy, back in there.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson's over there. Breece Hall, who we only got to see like 10, 11 games, whatever the amount of games was, he's a fantastic young running back.
So good.
Offensive line, they're going to have to figure it out. They'll be able to do that in the draft. But this Jets team's going to be great. And Jordan Love now has an opportunity to prove whether or not he's going to be good. Win-win for all parties, except for maybe people in the AFC East, where the Jets that have kind of always been a foregone conclusion, I believe.
Yeah. Just a dumpster
And that's what a
fire.
lot of dumpster fire. Now they're a thing, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
As a Patriots fan, you got to be scared to death. Hey, Pack, they got to be scared up there in New England.
I would be. You know, I woke up this morning like, oh, fuck, the Jets, A-Rod. You know, now I'm thinking, now you go back and look, all right, he over here with, arguably, they saying the best quarterback with Kansas City. Can the Jets beat Kansas City? That's a maybe. Can they beat the Bengals? A maybe. Can they beat the Bills? Shit, they beat the Bills last year without A-Rod. So if you looking at all the stuff that's done happened in the past 24 hours, shit, if you waking up a Jets fan, you happy as hell. You finally got a fucking quarterback that you can say that it's already is established, because the last 40 you had, this was some shit.
Yes.
But if you wake up on the other side, which I love A-Rod, but I can see how some of the Packers fans are saying, hey, yo, fuck it. I'm tired of dealing with this fucking guy. He's going to the dark hole. So I can see both sides.
Yeah.
But me personally, I think this is good for the Jets.
I could see how people would say that. By the way, people are saying that.
Yeah.
And I only know that because my mentions are also Aaron's mentions for probably like 10% of the mentions that he gets. I get in there. And obviously, he's diving in some different waters on the internet as well now with the new friendships with a Kennedy, I believe.
That's right.
Just
hanging. Those are good people to hang around.
Certainly does. He's right in the middle of a lot. But I do see a lot of Packers fans that are pretty much just like them painting over that mural.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of
24
move on,
hours.
ready for it, ready to move on. I think they're going to maybe regret that whenever there comes a time that Aaron Rodgers would normally do something and maybe Jordan does it. And maybe there isn't a time where Jordan just picks this thing up and is incredible. Looked like Aaron whenever he threw the ball to the Eagles. He can obviously move. Yeah. He's an incredible athlete. He's gotten much better. I think everybody loves him, including Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So maybe there's no drop-off at all at any situation, and they go win a Super Bowl. That could happen. I mean, it happened with Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, a little bit different situation there, but Patrick Mahomes goes there. They immediately, boom, after his first year of sitting
MVP.
out. So maybe Jordan Love goes on to do that. But there's going to come a time where I think you're going to remember that maybe you took a little bit for granted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe you took a little bit for granted. And I'm only saying that as an Indianapolis Colts fan.
A lot of this shit is going to come back to hit Big Brian. Pop! Pew, 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 pew.
You're talking about Guti?
Yeah, he passed on fucking T. Hig. Just imagine if T. Hig would have been with the Packers doing that little run they would have had. it would have been a different team. He went with the quarterback decision there. But if this don't work, it all come back to him.
Yeah, and this is his legacy.
Yeah.
And that is really how it'll be judged in the long run. But I like the fact that they were able to get a deal done. The Packers fans are happy with it.
Very.
Packers fans are pumped about the deal. So PR-wise, you already won. Deal's already won.
Yeah, simple.
Deal is already won because I guess you could say, well, I wasn't able to give my team better, how you could judge yourself. But if your fan base is like, good deal.
Happy, yeah, exactly.
That's a winning trade, I think, in the NFL. I think that would be considered a winning trade because you don't have anybody on your ass. Now, there's going to be Michael Lombardi's going to join us in the next hour. He's been a part of these types of trades. I'll be excited to hear his thoughts on how he thought we got here. Feels like it was a great deal by Gutekunst done, though, honestly, because his fans are happy with it.
Yes.
And I think that's mission.
Right now.
Well, right now is the only thing that matters.
Yeah. Here's how.
Right now is the only thing that matters.
And I don't know if they did this purposely PR-wise or the Jets did this for them PR-wise or someone did it for them PR-wise. Because there was a point there in a couple weeks ago where there was no chance in Packers fans' brains that they were getting a first-round pick.
Well, I think I might have helped too.
Yeah, you probably
Because I thought
could've.
there was no chance. Honestly, I thought it was going to be tough because the leverage, because they had spoken so publicly about getting rid of it. Like, we do not want to do this anymore.
Yeah, and they had 2 twos.
If everything we want to happen doesn't happen, then we'll see Aaron on our team.
Exactly.
That was said publicly before anything else, before any of the other conversations that took place. That was said by the Green Bay Packers. Every other general manager hears that. Okay, you are in a situation where we like to go fucked because the general manager drafted a quarterback, caused a big uproar, haven't been able to see if he can play. If he doesn't get to play this year, he's going to be gone. You're never going to know if he was a guy or not.